Hello there. Today I wanted to show off my new computer, the SmallZ80 from TGC Consulting. It's a Z80 clocked at 20 megahertz with 586 kilobytes of RAM, 2 serial ports, and 1 IDE. It comes as a kit or assembled starting at about $120 US. There are options for floppy controller and LAN terminal. LAN terminal will allow you to basically plug it into Ethernet and Telenet to the serial port and use the computer remotely. This thing boots up ZCPR3, which is an extension to CPM, and it's really fast. I'll show that in a little bit. 2 serial ports. In my case, they look like this. They go all the way up to 900 kilobauds. I'm using mine at 400 and some kilobauds. Okay, let's take a look at the inside. I built mine from kit, which is kind of the purpose for me. Here you have the inside. Let's see if I can point to. There's the Z80, newish, 20 megahertz Z80. There's the 32K ROM, 32K RAM, 512K RAM, and the high-speed serial chip. A couple dip switches or jumpers there for configuration, and various chips, a number of PALs. Comes pre-programmed, obviously. The PALs are for the memory mapping as well as for the IDE. And this is IDE converted to CF, compact flash, just the way I like to run my things. And there's also on board, there's a header for status LEDs, activity, power, and reset button. The battery there is for the timer chip to keep the clock. And I think those are the components. In my case, I ended up, because of the constraints of the case, the circuit board is not mounted flush to the back. If I had that option, and most of you probably will, you'll be able to use the included RS-232 that you can mount directly on the circuit board, which will allow you to, open or access the RS-232 from the back directly. You may also want to put a 5-volt power supply directly into the case. In my case, I opted for the external 5 volts. I thought I'd talk a little bit about the manual. I think you can download the manual from Terry's website, stack180.com, and I'll have that link in my description as well. But it's written in the old school kit fashion, starting with basically the assembly instructions and some setup, as well as this is the terminal setup, the theory of operation, describing how it's all put together, which is great. Operating system, the basics of Z80, ZCPR3 and Z system, and the CF card image that's on the website has actually a whole bunch of goodies already pre-installed. So, that's a great place to start. As well as I'll show you in a second. There's a lot of attention put to the detail, both in the software as well as the manual. It's lovely. I really appreciate these things. And so here it is, the schematics and the some more boot codes and parameters for the EEPROM and appendix. And this, you can download and peruse before you actually get to the item. Okay, well, let's fire this up and see how it works. And a reset. Okay, here's just a quick show of how it boots. There's the reset, and there's the help menu, and there's There's the boot from IDE. There it goes into DCP-R3. That was pretty fast. Actually, that was faster because it had everything in the RAM disk. But let's start from complete power off. Same thing. Okay, so it has to read a little bit more from the CF card, but still boots pretty fast. So there you have it, my new computer from TGC Consulting, the SmallZ80, 20 megahertz D80, and I'm looking forward to tinkering with this a little bit. Take care.